Manchester United look like they have basically got their first signing of the summer transfer window. Di Marzio was reporting earlier today that a deal has been struck. I think it's in the region of £52 million for Fred of Shakhtar Donetsk. And now the news has sort of gained momentum in the last couple of days that he could be potentially joining Manchester United. Now, before there was rumours that he was going to a Manchester club only a few weeks ago, and Manchester City were interested in signing the midfielder in January, but they seem to have pulled the plug on it. And to be honest, I don't really see Man City have got a lot of talented options in midfield. Looking at the likes of De Bruyne and all them, David Silva, they've got Fernandinho, they've got Phil Foden. Okay, they've got already Yaya Toure, but they've still got so many options in midfield. You're looking at the likes of Bernardo Silva, so many players that they've got that can play in a number of positions. So it would be fitting Fred in. But for Manchester United, I think he's 6 foot, he's 5'6", I believe. So he's not very tall. And obviously normally Jose Mourinho does like a lot of taller, physical, powerful players, but he did have Claude Makélélé at Chelsea, and he wasn't the tallest of players. So obviously he's not the same sort of player, but decent player is Fred. I haven't seen too much of him. Skillful looking player. Doesn't score a bag of goals, so he won't be a massive goal scorer, I wouldn't have thought, of Manchester United. But it does look, from what Di Marzio is saying, that Manchester United are looking, and Jose Mourinho is looking to play a midfield trio of Paul Pogba, Matic and obviously Fred. So that does look exciting times. Now, most of the time I haven't been a huge, massive fan of Ander Herrera. Now, his passion and his willingness and everything else for Manchester United cannot go unnoticed, but I'm not sure that Ander Herrera is the man for Manchester United playing in that midfield three that's going to take Manchester United back to the top of English football. So hopefully Fred will help that scenario, and I'm not against Manchester United keeping Ander Herrera in midfield. I'm pretty happy if he remains a squad player for Manchester United, but I'm not too sure that over a whole season Manchester United can rely on playing them sort of players. And also Scott McTominay as well. Fantastic that Scott McTominay's come through the U team, but just not good enough for Manchester United. Playing on a regular basis, probably not. A bit limited is Scott McTominay, so Manchester United definitely needed at least one more midfielder this summer, and it looks like we've got that in the signing of Brazilian Fred. He will go to the World Cup. He's only featured, I think, 7 times for Brazil, and only once in about the last 2 or 3 years, so hopefully he can get some minutes out there. If maybe they have a dead rubber in the last group game, maybe he can get some minutes. I'm not sure he will start for them, but it does look like exciting times. Toby Alderweireld is also being mentioned for Manchester United, that a deal is looking to be concluded for him as well. Whether that one actually happens as well, I'm not too sure, but it looks like it could be another deal in the pipeline. And from what reports are saying, is Manchester United want these two players signed up before the start of the World Cup, which will be exciting time for Manchester United if we can get some of our business done early. Okay, these two players will be going on the World Cup stage this coming summer, so they won't be ready for Manchester United when we go on our pre-season tour in a few weeks' time. It's not long before Manchester United fly off to their pre-season tour. The World Cup will still, I think, almost just be coming to a climax when Manchester United fly off. So if we're signing players that are at the World Cup, that's exciting as well, because we'll be able to see them play at the World Cup, and hopefully Manchester United will be able to give a few youngsters an opportunity to see what they can do in the pre-season tour. I'm not expecting a lot of youngsters to play, but maybe 1 or 2, maybe if Demi Mitchell is back fit, maybe Angel Gomez may go on the tour as well. I wouldn't expect loads, but we've only got a dozen or so players that won't be going to the World Cup. So unless Jose Mourinho in the next few weeks signs some more players that aren't on World Cup duty, or don't, the only other thing is if a few of them get knocked out in the group stage and maybe come back, but I think he will give them an extended break, at least for the first bit of the pre-season anyway. So hopefully it will be exciting to see a couple of youngsters. I would obviously like to see Mason Greenwood get a chance on the tour, but the chances of that happening are pretty unlikely. But it would be an exciting time. I know a lot of people want to see on the pre-season tour, see the likes of Fred and Alderweireld if we do sign these players, but obviously if they're on international duty we can watch them in the World Cup. We know all about these players anyway, but I haven't seen a whole load of Fred play. But I'm still excited that Manchester United are making their moves quick, because it does look to me as though Jose Mourinho and Ed Woodward know what they want to get, and if we can get them done quick, we're not fanning around towards the end of the transfer window worrying about what we're going to get and may end up getting our second or third choices. It does look, if we're going bang, we want Fred, bang, we want Toby Alderweireld, bang, we want this guy and that guy, then it does look to me as though we're hitting our targets if we're getting them done and dusted pretty quick, and that's what we want at Manchester United. Now it does also look, if we get a centre half, which is Tony Alderweireld, and we get Fred, that'll be probably 2 of 4 or 5 targets for Manchester United. It is taught that we want about 5 players. Now, I would presume that obviously Marouane Fellaini looks like he's going, and Matteo Darmian looks like that deal is almost being concluded for him to go to Juventus. So it does look to me as though he wants one more forward, sort of wide forward player. And to me it looks like it's probably the main target there at this moment in time. It's looking a bit like Willian at Chelsea. Now, it could be that Willian is a great signing for Manchester United and gives us that balance that we may well need in the attacking areas. I was a bit against it a year or so ago when Manchester United were talking about getting him. Although the only snag on Willian is he's 29 years of age, and if we're signing Tony Alderweireld as well, a 29-year-old, got Alexis Sanchez who's 29, we're going to end up with quite a few older players. But if the likes of Martial, Rashford do continue to knock around, then we still have some youth, and the likes of Angel Gomez, Chong, Greenwood all coming through as well. So we could still have that mix in there. But I would presume one more sort of forward attacking player. I know Jose Mourinho did say a couple of months ago after signing Alexis Sanchez he didn't want any more wide or forward players in the attacking areas, but I don't believe what Jose Mourinho says. Watch out for what he does, because he's not going to say in press conferences and in the news, oh, I want a left back, I want a midfielder, because then the prices for these players are just going to rocket sky high. So he's not going to come out and say what areas he wants to strengthen. Right now he's just going to, and it looks like he's just going bang, we want Fred, bang, we want Toby Alderweireld, bang, we want Willian, and then they'd be done, and we could move on. Whether Willian is actually going to come in, I'm not too sure, but we do look like we want. So I could see if we get Toby Alderweireld and we get Fred, I could see a strengthening. It does look like we want a right back, so it is a shame that probably Fosu Mensah won't get the right back position, because if we've got Valencia still knocking around as well and we get one more, it's going to probably put him a bit further down the pecking order, which will be a bit of a shame. And certainly if Axel Tuanzebe doesn't go on loan, hopefully he'll go back on loan, because he was occasionally playing in the right back positions for Manchester United and we want him to get game time. If Aston Villa go up, hopefully he can remain there for the next season. And also a left back looks like it is a priority for Manchester United as well. So we could still have if we sign them two, Toby Alderweireld and Fred, then we could be looking at another 3 signings for Manchester United still to come in. And if we get them all done and dusted early, it will seem a bit underwhelming nearer the end of the transfer window. But I would love Manchester United to just get these signings done, get them out the way, and then we can look forward to hopefully a greater season this season. I mean, with the fact that we had such a horseshit defence this season, with Phil Jones, Chris Smalling, Ashley Young and Valencia all in the defence, imagine what we can do next season. Imagine what our defence could be like and our defensive record if Manchester United actually signed some high quality central back and a couple of fullbacks, because fullbacks is a problem certainly going forward as well. Beating men and putting good crosses in to the box in attacking areas is going to be something, but we will have to wait and see, because if Manchester United do sign some better fullbacks and defenders, then will Manchester United be more attacking, maybe concede a few more goals but score a good chunk more as well, because that's one thing a lot of the papers and press were talking about in the sort of in mid part of the season, that Jose Mourinho wasn't quite happy with the defence at Manchester United and he was playing a little bit more cautious because he was worried that Manchester United's defence wasn't good enough, and that if Manchester United attacked too much that we would be shit at the back. So that is something to go by. If we can get a good defence, he's always had good defences, and everyone's got to remember that great defence he had at Chelsea with William Carvalho, and with Terry at the back. That was a great defence that Chelsea had, and hopefully Manchester United can build on something for next season with a good defence, and then move forward in the attacking areas as well. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this signing of Fred. It does look like it's going to be done for a region of £52 million, which I think is steep, but I think it is a good sign. It's a necessary signing that Manchester United have got to make in midfield. We're not just going out and looking plonk. Neymar's there. We want to get Neymar. We're looking at the areas that I think that Manchester United want to address, and going out there and addressing them, because there's no point in just going out and buying any old superstar that could potentially want to move away that doesn't fit into the areas that Manchester United want. So that's why if Manchester United were to sign Willian, and Jose Mourinho wants him for a purpose in the Manchester United team and to maybe give us some more balance in the team, then I'm happy for that if it will bring Manchester United results and be successful next season. So let me know your thoughts on this signing. Fred, Alderweireld. Will Alderweireld help Manchester United defensively? Will that leave Eric Bailly or Victor Lindelof in the Manchester United defence? One of them could be missing out in the coming season, but he is 29 years of age, coming from Tottenham, so they're still young, so hopefully they can improve as well. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the signings to come from Manchester United, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See you.